everyone. Today we will study about the bionomic importance of Aschelmantis. What is bionomic importance? Bionomics means bio means life and norms means law. So in general it include the or it has two meaning. That is first one. That is the one is an organism. Uh, it is a comprehensive study of an organism and its relation to its environment, whereas the other meaning is that the economic discipline which studies economy has a self-organized evolving ecosystem. So in general, for us, the bionomic importance of Aschelmantis include what are the um, different organisms that belong to the phylum Aschelmantis helps in disease transmission or the causes different type of disease, or how it is economically important, or it may be used in and their uses in the medical science. Okay, so bionomic importance, as we all studied that the Aschelmantis are pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate means a false coelom, that is the cavity lying between the body wall and the gut. Okay, um, and they are also unsegmented worm-like animal. They are free living or parasite. Okay, and they are commonly known as a nematodes. So most of the parasites which causes harmful or which act as a parasites on animals or any other organism belong to the mostly class Nematoda. And basically this Aschelmantis include more concentrated on the nematodes. Okay, so now we will study the in other way we will study the about the nematodes, the importance of nematodes. Okay, so these are very important. These nematodes are very important in the point of view of economic and the medical. Okay, medical studies, because they affect the economy and the health of the men in various ways. Not only men but also the domestic animal, the livestock which we have, it also in fact affects them. Okay, most of them are the parasites living in men and other organism, and they obtain food from them. They also causes diseases, okay, to the men, the domestic animals plus plant also. They causes little or extensive damages in the host that they are uh, dependent on. Okay, and in general there are 50 species. For example, there are 50 species of the roundworms lives in a human parasite. Okay, 50 species of the roundworms that are lives in a human lives as a human parasite. Okay, and most of them do not require intermediate hosts. Okay, so they complete their life cycle in a one particular host only. Okay, the infection is direct, that is by contamination through water, air and food. And some Aschelmantis lives as a parasite in cattle, sheep, poultry and in various vertebrates. Okay? This cattle, sheep, poultry are the livestock of the humans. No? So they also found inhibiting in their body. Okay? The roundworms also live as a parasite in a various crops and plants. Okay, the parasite, and thus the parasite are further classified into human parasites, plant parasite, and the parasite of domestic animals. Okay, so now we will see what are the different type of human parasites. The nematodes that live inside the body of the man, causing dullness, illness, or even death sometime, are known as a human parasites. Okay, and the most common human Aschelmantis parasites are the Ascaris lubricoides and Cyclostome duodenale, Wucheria bancrofti, then Ranunculus medinensis. These are the some examples of human parasites, which are like common example of human parasites that belong to the phylum Aschelmantis. Okay. Now we will see the Ascarimenthes lubricoids. Ascaris lubricoids. Okay, it is commonly called as a roundworm. It is an endoparasite living in the intestine of the man. Okay, and it is more common in the children than in adult. Okay, and the male worm is smaller than the female. The male worm is recovered at its posterior end with a pair of penial setae. Okay, and the infection is by contamination through a food and water. It causes hemorrhage, then pneumonia and inflammation of the gallbladder and the bile duct. It is thus called as a monogenic parasite. What is monogenic parasite? The parasite which completes its life cycle in a one host only, it does not require intermediate host. This type of parasite are known as a monogenic parasite. Okay. Then the second example is Encyclostome duodenale. Okay. It is commonly known as a hookworm. The adult lives in the intestine of the man. It sucks blood, lymph, bits of mucous membrane and the tissue fluids. This Encyclostome Stoma duodenal is also a monogenic parasite, that it completes its life cycle in a one host only. Okay. The juveniles enters the man through the skin from the contaminated soil, and this one is also most common in a children's. Okay. Next example is the Wucheria bancrofti. Wucheria bancrofti is commonly known as a filarial worm. Okay, and it is digenic parasite. So we have seen the monogenic parasite, that is a parasite completes its life cycle in a one organism, one host only. What is digenic parasite? Digenic parasite is the parasite that require an intermediate host. That will one host either will be uh, for the completion of their life cycle they require two hosts. Okay. So here the one host is the man. Man is the primary host. Okay, and the Culex mosquito is the secondary host. Okay, the presence of more than two hosts is a requirement of an intermediate host. This type of parasite is known as the digenic parasites. Okay, and in the Wucheria bancrofti they require two hosts, that is one primary host is the man and the secondary host is the mosquito, Culex mosquito. Okay, it lives in the lymph nodes and the lymph vessels of the man. This Wucheria bancrofti lives found or inhibits, okay, in the lymph node and the lymph vessels of the man. It causes serious disease in a man called as elephantiasis. You have heard this about elephantiasis. The swollen, the legs and all got swollen up. Okay, due to they form the blockage of the lymph vessels and the glands. This slides contains the life cycle of the Ascaris and the Wucheria bancrofti. Okay, and A is the life cycle of the Ascaris, whereas B is the organism, that is the Encyclostome duodenum. Okay, and this last one, the C1, is the life cycle of the Wucheria bancrofti. Okay. The life cycle, we'll just study the life cycle of the Ascaris. Life cycle begins from the eggs. Eggs are released. Okay. The Ascaris, the mature Ascaris, will reside in the intestine of the man. Okay, and mature female will release eggs into the through the feces. It will come out. Okay, and then these eggs are the has the coating. Okay, when there is like cyst, this cyst will be have a coating, and it will like in an unfavorable condition until they get a particular host. It will not like release the lava into the environment. Okay, so this repetitive lava in the egg will be formed, is released, and in a later when it comes in a contact with a preferable host. Okay, it will enter into the hepatic portal vein. Okay, and to the liver. From liver it will move to the hepatic vein, then post caval vein into heart, lungs and all. And it will also come out of the not only through the feces, it also come out through the coughing and all. Okay, while coughing thrown out of the body into the environment. Okay, this is the Encyclostoma duodenal. Then we'll see the life cycle of the Wucheria bancrofti. From the infected person, this mosquito will inject the Wucheria bancrofti, the eggs of the Wucheria bancrofti, and it will be stored in the pharynx. Okay, and during the injection by the mosquito, it will enter into the normal into the blood vessel into the lymphatic system of the human being. Okay, and from lymphatic system they will enter and found into will go and inhibit into the lymph node. From the lymph node they get matured, increase their number, and again they will like enter into the blood vessels. From hence they are inhibited into the lymph node. There will be the blockage will be formed. Okay, and this blockage will give rise to the elephantiasis disease. Okay, this is in general the life cycle of the Ascaris and Wucheria bancrofti. Next examples of parasitic human parasites are Dracunculus medinensis. Dracunculus medinensis is commonly known as a guinea worm. Okay, it is the endoparasite. What are endoparasite? Endoparasite are the organism which found inside, which lives inside the body of the host. Okay, that is endoparasite. That is ectoparasite are the organism parasite that found on the outside the body of the host. Okay, so they are endoparasite. Even the last three examples, that is Ascaris and Cyclostoma Wucheria bancrofti, are the example of endoparasites only. Dracunculus medinensis is endoparasite living in a subcutaneous tissue. It is digenic parasite because it completes its life cycle in two hosts. Okay? The primary host is the man and the intermediate host is the cyclope. It produces blisters on the skin. Next example is Enterobius vermicularis. This Enterobius vermicularis is known as a peen, commonly known as a peen worm. It lives in a caecum. The worm are slender. It is monogenic parasite. Okay, monogenic parasite means require only one host. It causes severe itching in a perianal region. The next example of human parasite is the Trichocephalus trichurus. It is commonly known as the whipworm. It occurs in a caecum and the large intestine of the human. Okay? It causes damage to the epithelial cells and the blood cells. It is also an monogenic endoparasite. The severe infection causes anemia and abdominal pain. The next example is loye. It is most commonly found in Africa. It is commonly known as African eye worm. During their migration, they pass across the eyeball. The intermediate host is the mango fly, and it causes swelling and the pain in the eye. These are the examples of human parasites. Now we'll see what are the different types of plant parasite. The plant parasites, they are otherwise called as a phytoparasite. This plant parasite is also called as a phytoparasite. They usually feed on the plant juices. They causes injuries to the plant tissue. The common plant nematode parasites are Tylenchus angulula and Heterodera marioni. Okay, so first we'll see the Tylenchus angulula. These are the nematode parasites. It lives in a wheat plant, okay, and it causes galls on a wheat plant. The juvenile lives in the stem of the wheat plant. It sucks the plant juices, okay. And next example is a Heterodera marioni. These are also the parasitic nematode, plant parasitic nematode, commonly called as the sugar beet eelworm. Okay. It attacks the roots of the beans, pea, cabbage, cotton, etc. It feeds on tissues and causes heavy damages to the crop. Okay. And it also damages the roots of the potato plant too. Okay. Not Heterodera marioni, the other species of the Heterodera species causes damage to the roots of the potato plants. Next one is the parasite of domestic animals or the livestock. Okay, these are the nematodes. These are also the nematodes. This parasites of domestic animals are also nematode, which infect the domestic animals like fowl and dog, sheep and all. Okay, the most important parasites are the Heterchus gallinae. It lives in a cage of the domestic fowl. The males are smaller than the female and it carries a protozoan which causes a disease known as a blackhead. Okay. The next one is the Toxocaris Toxocara canis. Okay, the spelling mistake is there. Toxocara, Toxocara. Okay, canis. Uh, the larval of this parasite enter the pregnant female. Okay, female dog. Then they migrate through the placenta and finally reaches the young one. So, Toxocara canis parasite, not adult will infect but the larvae will lead to the infection. That is, larvae will enter the pregnant female dog, then it will migrate to the placenta and through placenta it will enter into the young one, the offspring. Okay, and the larvae usually infect the children and the children's and live in the liver of the young one. It causes damage to the liver and sometimes it causes death to the organism, to that or fatal to the host. Okay. So here we have completed the bionomic importance of the Aschelminthes. Okay. So we have completed the phylum Aschelminthes. We have already done the general characteristic, classification and the bionomic importance of Aschelminthes. Okay. So from next lecture we will start the new phylum. Okay. Thank you.